The Millennium Falcon was inspired by a hamburger. Han won it by pickpocketing Lando during a hug, and the famous Kessel Run line was a mistake George Lucas admitted to. Let's talk about that while I draw this iconic ship. The Millennium Falcon started as a hamburger with an olive stuck in the side. When George Lucas told designer Joe Johnston to redesign the ship in 1976 because it looked too much like the Eagle transporter from Space 1999, Johnston had about 4 weeks to come up with something completely new. He grabbed a hamburger, stuck an olive where the cockpit would be, and that's why the cockpit sits off to one side instead of in the center like every other spaceship. They called it the pork burger during production, and that offset design is what made it look different from anything else in sci-fi. The original long cylindrical ship design didn't go to waste though. They took that first model, rescaled it, stuck a hammerhead shark design on the front where the old cockpit used to be, and turned it into Princess Leia's ship, the Tantive 4. That's the very first ship you see in A New Hope, the one that opens the whole saga, and it started life as Han Solo's rejected ride. The Kenner Millennium Falcon toy had some serious trading power when I was in the 4th grade. My buddy Jeff thought it was the coolest thing ever, and I had one, and I offered to trade mine to him for his sister. He agreed. We actually made the trade. His mother made us trade back, which felt a little obtuse on her part, but that's how I almost bought a wife fair and square with a Millennium Falcon 45 years ago. She's still as beautiful today as she was back then. Every now and then when we talk, I remind Jeff the offer still stands, but they won't take me up on it anymore. Pretty sure my beautiful young bride wouldn't appreciate me bringing home another wife anyway. Here's how Han actually got his Falcon, and it's not quite the fair and square story he tells. Lando Calrissian was cheating at sabacc, the card game with the dice and cards ranging from -10 to +10. Lando had a winning card hidden in a secret compartment up his sleeve. Han caught him cheating during their first game, but instead of calling him out, Han just stole the card right out of Lando's sleeve. Later, he tracked Lando down to another game and used that stolen card to win the ship. So Han won the Falcon by cheating against someone who was already cheating, which technically makes it fair, or at least fair enough for a smuggler. The model of the ship for the movie was built by dumping roomfuls of World War II model kits into the floor and gluing the pieces together. They bought hundreds of kits, tanks, planes, ships, railguns, broke them apart, and stuck all the tiny components all over the surface. These little bits are called greeblies, and that name stuck, not just at Industrial Light and Magic, but anywhere someone builds a spaceship model now. You can look up at the Millennium Falcon and recognize specific parts once you know what you're looking at. The transmission piece is from a German tank model, that gunner seat is from a German railgun kit. The whole ship is basically a 5-foot-long pile of World War II surplus glued into the shape of a hamburger. There was a 5-foot model and a 32-inch model. The 5-foot model was for the original. The 32-inch model was for The Empire Strikes Back. And both models got destroyed after filming. The original 5-foot model was trashed after Empire Strikes Back, and the smaller 32-inch model they built for the better flight maneuvers got destroyed after Return of the Jedi. When they decided to make The Force Awakens in 2015, they had to rebuild the whole thing from old photographs and the original blueprints, piecing together where every single greebly belonged. They recreated it down to a Lego brick that was stuck halfway up the boarding ramp on the original set. Wouldn't you have loved to have had a piece of that original? That would fund any kid's college trip today. You could buy however many wives you wanted for that 5-foot model. And yeah, that famous Kessel Run line was a mistake. When Han brags the Falcon made the run in less than 12 parsecs, that's like me saying I made it to Sturgis in less than 1,300 miles. A parsec is a measure of distance, not time. George Lucas admitted the error in 1977, but later stories retconned it by saying Han flew dangerously short route near black holes. The Solo movie finally showed that risky shortcut that nearly destroyed the ship, but at least the mistake became part of the lore instead of just living in the blooper reel forever.